process.
Welcome to The Fix. It is Monday, and it must be the Recovery Guy. So we are rocking the day. One of the most exciting things about Monday is I get an extra dose of hope. So as we go through today's broadcast and we spend a few minutes together, we're going to share this message of hope, and we're going to knock this thing out of the park. You know, when we come into this thing called recovery or wellness, that new position and change in life, so many of us come without hope. Some of you who had hope on Friday lost it over the weekend, and now you're coming back here for your Monday fix of some more hope. Many of us have been on the losing side of life for some time now. Some of us just lost for the first time the other day. Regardless, we feel battered, we feel bruised, and some of us even feel beaten. Well, welcome to the world. Welcome to real life. And that's why we do this Monday fix. You know, as time goes on, providing we're participating in wellness and recovery and beginning to practice some of the things that we're going to discuss a little bit later in this podcast, things begin to look differently. And hopefully differently means better. One thing we have to understand is that it's okay to start out slow. So if we're going to start out slow to begin our view of life, you know, we might be able to enjoy things just a little bit more. You know, sometimes when we approach life so fast, you know, we might get to where we want to be, but we miss the beauty of the trees and all the people we meet along the way. So what I want to do is just sort of pick it up, take it piecemeal, right? You ever hear the adage of, you know, how do you eat an elephant, right? You eat the elephant one bite at a time, right? Makes sense. Because we don't want anything to go to waste. We don't want this to be like taking a drink out of a fire hose, right? All the water's good, but if most of it ends on the ground, what good did it do you? So let's just take back, chill for a minute, take an extra drink of that cup of coffee or that energy drink or whatever you're doing, or take a deeper breath of fresh air. So let's do this one thing at a time. One of the most amazing things is when we adopt a message of hope. And again, this is what the fix is all about on Monday. Let's rekindle that hope. Let's make a commitment to share that hope with others, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to challenge you today. I try not to give you a little bit too much too often, but I think this is right. I hope you feel me. As a matter of fact, I would go so far as to say we have an obligation to share this message of hope with those who lack hope and encourage those who do have hope. I'm going to say that one more time because I cannot overemphasize this. I would go so far as to say we have an obligation, right? You to me to you, you to others, me to others. Grab as big an audience that we can and share this message, right? This message of hope. Because I'll tell you what, it doesn't take me long to figure out there's people in this life who lack hope and they need our encouragement. Sometimes I meet them at the grocery store in the aisle with me as they're going through, and I catch a picture, a notion on their face. I see a bit of discouragement, or I go to the checkout counter, right? And that person is certainly not on their job or happy with what they're doing. They're just sort of lost. They're just sort of stuck, right? They're like those old cartoon characters where they look like they're running, their feet are moving, but they ain't getting anywhere, right? Zig Ziglar says where sometimes people confuse activity for accomplishment, right? And we just get tired of moving, but going nowhere. We see those people all around us. Sometimes we are those people, right? And we got to dig down and we got to dig in, right? And we need to pull out what we have and who we are to become the best that we can be, because we have an obligation to share that with others, right? We have an obligation. You can't keep what you don't give. Let me share something with you. This scientific principle right here. You might argue with me and get away with it, and you might even win an argument or two, but you argue with science, well, that's on you, right? Because you're just going to look foolish. So check it out. It's scientifically impossible to fill a cup that's full. I'm going to say that again because it's so simple, it might have got by you like it did me the first time I heard it. It's impossible to fill a cup that is full. Conversely, filling a cup that's empty, man, that's easy to do, right? Because there's a lot of space, there's a lot of volume to fill. I want to be emptied because I want to get filled, right? There's just a universal law, right? The more I give, the more I receive. You show me a person who doesn't think they get, and I'll show you a person who likely doesn't give. Again, show me a person who doesn't get, and I'll show you a person who likely doesn't give. So, like I say, those who lack hope will see us and think maybe, just maybe, I can find the hope I have seen in them. And it lights a spark. As I've said in many of my previous talks, John Maxwell said that there's hope in the future, there's power in the present. So when we share our hope with someone who has found hope, both their hope and ours is bound to grow. Do you know what synergy is? I love science, and I'm not real smart, and I'm not a science guy. I don't have a degree in science. Matter of fact, when I was going to college, science was a subject that I had to take, but I love to avoid, right? I'm just not wired that way. But here's what I know. There's this thing called synergy. Synergy is when two different components are combined to make a third element, oftentimes even more powerful and able than the other two individually. So we want to have that synergistic effect. When we get together with someone who has hope, who needs hope, they find hope, we share our hope with them, and something altogether more powerful grows from without it. And if you've never experienced that before, I invite you to experience that. So, how do we find hope in what might otherwise appear to be hopeless? You know, have you ever seen a one-sided coin? Don't answer me too quickly. Think about it. Have you ever seen a one-sided coin? Let me answer for you. No. You've never seen a one-sided coin. Do you know why? There's no such thing as a one-sided coin. Everything has another side. So when I see something that may appear to be hopeless, I recognize it. I don't get in denial over it, but I've become the master of the flip, right? Today is the fix, right? But I'm a master of the flip. I take something that appears to be hopeless, I flip it. And I say, there's something about this situation, this opportunity, this person that I'm going to find hope in. So first and foremost, if our life is better, if we made improvements, if we've gotten clean, gotten sober, the relationship is going good, let's find something that we've accomplished, that we have hope in, and it takes away from the negativity and the power of that thing that we saw as hopeless. Is my life getting better, even by a small margin? There's this thing called sequential learning. Sequential learning is a way to learn, like goals, right? You never accomplish a great goal in 5 years in 1 month. Sometime remind me, I'll have to tell you the story about the Chinese bamboo tree. Great story. But we take a large goal that we want to be in 5 years and we break it down, almost like reverse engineer it. And we break it down into more incremental. Skinner, the psychologist, called it a successive approximation. Little by little, we gain the ability, and marginally, we learn to do something and have a great effect. Now, are we looking for new friends? Are we seeking people who are like us, or people who would like to be like us? Are we out there socializing? We are social creatures. Some of us more social than others, but we all need relationships. Are we seeking those things out? Are we fulfilling that emotional need to be cared for and care for? Do we identify others who are like us, that we can relate to, who are going in the same direction at the same time? Again, I turn my head to science. Water seeks its own level, right? And I want to seek my level as well. I'm not going to reject someone if they don't think like me, if I have an opportunity to share my hope, right? An opportunity to share my joy. But I do want to be around people who think like me, who can help me become a better version of me. A big deal here, and whether or not you're spiritual is not important, or religious or what have you, I really don't care what your belief is as long as you have a belief and it's not in you, right? Because there is a power that's greater than ourselves. So have we begun to recognize what that higher power or God has done for us? And have we expressed gratitude? If we find the above is not happening in our lives, these examples I've given you, we can look in the mirror and be honest with ourselves that we're really not working a program of wellness. But if we can check off a couple of these things, we can look in the mirror of our soul, and we can say, you know what? I'm on the path. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing to become a better version of me. And as a result of that, I'm more equipped to help somebody else. And if that's who you are, keep working. And what we're looking for will occur over time. And again, if the answer is no, then don't be surprised by the lack of results. What I want us to do is let us all find hope in our life. Let us find hope in our day and the recovery that we're striving for. Then we can make an honest effort to share that message of hope with someone else. Boy, I hope you gotten your fix today. I've gotten my fix. I feel better. I want to go out and conquer something. I want to go out and meet somebody today that I can make a positive difference in their life. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm the Recovery Guy. This is Monday. This is The Fix. Welcome.